Further, Ricardo he did explain, or he did assume, that there is a land which, according to him, he termed it as a marginal land. That marginal land is a plot of land which does not yield any rent. Okay. He did also mention that there are some land that earn rent, and he referred them, or he termed them, as the intra marginal land. And according to him, rent, it is a difference between the produce of the intra marginal land and the marginal land. Ricardo, again, before he comes to the main explanation, he assumed that there are a group of migrants, okay, who migrate to a new area, or who migrate to a new land, okay. And on reaching that new land, or on reaching that new area, what happened was those farmers find out that the land is abundant in supply. That means there are plenty of land where they can grow, where they can cultivate the different types of crops. So, like what he did assume, when those farmers first reach that very plot of land, they choose the very best plot of land. That means first they choose the most fertile plot, or the most fertile area. So, here in this very assumption, let's say those farmers, they are being growing, they are been using one plot of land which is very good, which is very fertile, which is of superior quality, and let's refer it as the plot A. The diagram that we can see here, it is, or it referred to that plot of land that in which the farmer choose, that is the plot A, which is considered to be more fertile according to them. So when they first cultivate or make use of that plot of land, okay, what happened was they produce OA as the output at the price OP. Okay, so in the diagram we have, yes, this axis representing the output, we have this axis representing the price or the cost. We also have the two curves, the MCA, we have the ACA, which are the marginal cost as well as the average cost of this plot, that is the plot A. So the intersection of these two curves, MCA as well as the ACA, gives us the price OP. That means gives us the intersection point A, okay, and as such we have the farmer, they are producing OA as output at a price OP. But what has been stated here by Ricardo is that as times pass by, okay, population in this particular in that new land or in that new area will start to increase. Okay, so with the increase in population, there will also be an increase in demand, and the moment demand increases, there will be a tendency for farmers to employ more and more workers, to employ more and more capital in this very same plot, that is in this plot A. And the moment demand increases, there will be a tendency, okay, for the price also to increase. And as such, due to the increase in demand, price will increase from OP to OP1. Okay. And at this prevailing price, at OP1, what we can see is that this price line P1, A1, okay, this price line did intersect the marginal cost curve at point A1, okay. And so from the point of intersection, from point A1, we drop a perpendicular downwards towards the output axis, which means these farmers, or those people in this very plot, in that very new island, they are producing, they have been able to increase the output from OA to OA1. want. And the moment output increases from OA to OA1, prices also did increase from OP to OP1. With this new output, okay, with this new price, what happened was, let's have a look, okay. If you look at this line A1, this small A1 and this big A1, what happened was they did cut the average cost curve at point E1, which means they are being producing an output equivalent to OA1, and they are charging a price of A1. Okay, the only difference is that this is a big A1, this is a small A1. And to simplify this particular area over here, let's say they are producing OA1 at a price OP1. Okay, so on producing at this output and at a price of OP1, it seems as if there is a big difference. Let's see. This is the price, okay, this is the cost, the average cost, okay. And what is rent? It is a difference between the price and the cost, the price being A1 and the average cost is A1 E1. That means this plot of land receive a rent equivalent to A1 E1 per unit. And if we multiply this rent per unit A1 E1 with the total output, that is OA1, or we multiply it with this particular area, because E1 D1 is the same as A1 O. So if we multiply this rent per unit A1 E1 with A1 D1, what we get the total rent obtained by this plot of land equivalent to A1 E1 D1 P1. Okay, so this is the total amount of rent that is being obtained by this plot of land. Further, if population keep on increasing, demand will also keep on increasing. So in order to meet that increased demand, they have to produce more and more, isn't it? So in order to do that, to produce more and more, they need to employ more and more workers, or say more and more of capital. So with the increase in demand, again, there will be a tendency also for the price to increase from OP1 to OP2. And so with this increase in price from OP1 to OP2, the quantity or the output produced will also increase from OA1 to OA2. Okay, so at this much output, at this much price, okay, what happened was, let's find out how much is the average cost. At this output, at this much price, A2, okay, the average cost is E2, okay, the price is A2. And is there any difference? Yes, there is a difference between the price and the average cost, okay. And this difference between the price and the average cost gives us the rent, which means this plot of land earn a rent equivalent to A2 E2 per unit. And if we do in the same way, multiply this A2 E2 with the total output, that is E2 D2, we get the total rent earned by this very plot, that is which is equivalent to A2 E2 D2 and P2. Okay, so this explanation shows that as more and more, as price keep on increasing, as more and more output is being produced, this very plot will be gaining more and more rent. So this type of cultivation is referred to as the intensive cultivation, where in order to produce more and more, in order to get more and more output, more and more workers, more and more capital are being used in this very same plot. And as such, it is referred to as the intensive cultivation.